be continuing with the Kenwood TS530 restoration and now a CW mod because this radio has high voltage grid block keying, a minus 65 volts on the key jack. It won't work with the modern solid state keyer. But first, a safety note, the schematic we're looking at here from the 530 manual is wrong. And where it says fuse 6 amp, that's in the bottom leg of the AC plug. That fuse is in the top leg between the plug and the on terminal of the off-on switch. And that's where it should be. Why that's wrong to put it in the other leg is that if the top leg is line and it's not a polarized plug, so it can be plugged in either direction. But if the top leg is line, pardon me, and some of the wiring shorts someplace up to the top of the transformer, or the transformer shorts internally, there's nothing to limit the current. So the thing to do is identify the lug of the power cord that goes to the off-on switch and mark that lug as being L and plug it in the narrow blade of the AC outlet. But don't move the fuse to agree with the schematic because the schematic's wrong. Okay, to the keying modification. Here's the key jack in the TS530 manual. The 580 might be similar, and the 220 ohm resistor is the focus here. The line from the left that goes to the AF unit, connector 6, terminal 2 key, right in the center of your screen. That's a minus 65 volts. When that's minus 65, the keying of the tubes, the driver on the files is inhibited. When that line goes low to chassis ground, then the amplifiers work and there's a CW tone sent. Here at the key jack, it's a little confusing. You see the angled levers that are activated by the make contact with the phone plug. Those little rectangular blocks are insulators. They're not conductors. So when the key is inserted in the center, the two terminals are spread apart, and those blocks push the common contacts down at the bottom, up in the top, and break the circuit from that incoming key line to terminal 2 that was going through 3 down to the chassis ground. That circuit's then broken. It's then made by closing the key, which contacts the two key terminals on the left. I can't find any circuit reason for the 220 ohm resistor being there. It's coming from a 65 or 68K. It doesn't appear to do anything. But it's there. I guess somebody had a reason. But the modification is to lift the resistor, R22, at terminal 4 and put the contacts of a high-speed small DC relay between R22, the right end, and terminal 4. Correction, the relay contacts go there, not the coil. The small 5, 9, or 12 volt high-speed relay, the contacts normally open go between the right end of that resistor and terminal 4. Then when the key is depressed, that completes the circuit and grounds that right end of that 220 ohm resistor. That enables the transmitter. I'm not seeing a pause on my record here. I like to pause this. Let me look at the circuit and verify that's correct. Yes, the right end, that was incorrect. The right end of the 220 resistor goes to the relay contact The other side of the relay contact goes to ground. So unsolder the 220 ohm resistor from terminal 4, connect it to one side of the relay contacts, the other side of the relay contacts down to terminal 3. Then the relay coil is grounded through terminal 4. That's the correct arrangement. So that schematic drawing is a bit confusing, but the connection is very simple. So now I'll take it to camera and actually show you the relay using a little fuse HE3600 series SIP reed relay, which is a 5-volt coil. They're available in various coil voltages, but it's a little 0.1 pitch inline relay. Very fast. And the circuit board's down here on the lower right. Terminals 1 and 4 go from the 220 resistor on one side, chassis ground on the other. Terminal 2 comes from some voltage source, may need to go through a drop-in resistor. Terminal 3 of the relay, that's the cold side of the coil, goes to terminal 4 on the key jack, which then goes out to the key tip. So I'm going to pause this here and switch over to the camera and show you the installation. Okay, now here we are at the radio. Back here in the back is the key jack, right there. 1/4 inch phone plug. This is a stereo plug, it can be a mono, but plugs in there. And there's the socket that has that 220 ohm resistor on it right there. That resistor, the cold side of it, came off that terminal right there where the green wire is now. It's on the left-hand side of the connector block. This is the incoming key line at minus 65 volts, goes through the 220 ohm resistor. The black wire here goes to one side of the relay contact. The other side of the relay contact goes to this terminal. And that terminal has a jumper wire that goes back to a chassis ground lug back here. So this terminal is chassis ground. So the relay contacts go from this end of that resistor, which has been disconnected, into that terminal. Back here is the relay. The yellow wire is plus 20 volts from the 14 on the power supply board, goes through an 820 ohm resistor to the 5-volt relay. And the green wire here is the cold or the switched side of the relay, which goes over here to this side terminal. When the key is plugged in, that's the tip of the key. When the key is closed, that goes to the chassis, activates relay coil, and connects this end of the resistor that was disconnected to chassis ground, and that keys the circuit. The reason for doing this is that this is an old radio, and the grid block keying was intended to be used with the straight key. It will not work with the econo keyer. It's just dead key all the time because it's reverse polarity. So to work with modern keyers, this is a necessary modification. And the little board back here is just some proto board that's glued to the inside of the back panel with some couple layers of Gorilla tape. So not a terribly difficult or expensive modification. But again, watch out for this AC line cord thing. I used an ohm meter to verify which of these terminals, see they're both the same width, if not keyed. I verified that this one is L, which goes to the fuse, and I cut off the flange here to identify that that is the one that gets plugged into the narrow blade, which is L in the US, not that one. So there's the keying mod and little safety note.